What's up, Blue Jay fans? Robb Scott of the Jay Talking Podcast, and I'm back with a series preview looking at the Los Angeles Angels against the Toronto Blue Jays. That series starts tomorrow night. It's a 3-game set. Blue Jays 3-12, last in the AL, last in MLB against the 7-10 Angels. Angels are fourth in the West, a -16 differential. The Jays a -21, tied for the worst in the AL. That's a differential. Jays 2-8 in the last 10. Same with the Angels. They're 2-7 at home, 1-5 on the road. The Angels 4-2 at home and 3-8 on the road. And the Angels are coming off a 1-6 road trip, so they're on shaky ground as well. But they're getting back home to where they're 4-2, and I think that'll figure into some of my calculations later, my predictions of where this series is going. Blue Jays starting pitching coming in. 2-8, their starters, with a 3.93 ERA. That's 16th overall, compared to the Angels starters, who are 2-8 with a 4.71 ERA. That's 29th, second last in the league. The relievers 5-2 with a 3.59 ERA for Anaheim, 13th overall. That's a good relief corps against the Jays, who's 1-4 with a 5.05 ERA, 22nd overall, and about where they'll stay all year. The staff in general, very, very close. Jays 4.36 ERA against the Los Angeles Angels, who I prefer to call California, with a 4.31 ERA. Let's look at the hitting stats for a minute and what we'll be up against. The Angels right now have a better offense, but who doesn't? The Jays 29th in runs compared to the Angels, who are 22nd overall in MLB. Hits, 24th for the Jays. Home runs, 26th. Average, 213. 27th. On-base percentage, 276. Slugging percentage, 323. And the OPS, 599. Last in the league, 599 OPS. Ridiculous. Stolen bases, 28th for the Jays. Total bases, 28th for the Jays. Ground into double plays, they're 6th overall there. 6th most. Sack bunts, tied for 16th. They just have 2. And sack flies, 3, tied for 14th. The Angels' offense, as I said, 22nd in runs overall. Hits, 7th. Home runs, 18th. Their average, 238. On-base percentage, 305. Slugging, 359. OPS, 664. Are all this? I keep seeing titles of home runs being up around the league, but it seems like stats are horrible. Down horrible. Team stats are just awful. Their 238 team batting average is good enough for 15th in MLB. That's middle of the pack. It seems weird. Anyway, stolen bases, they're 13th, tied for 13th. Total bases, 15th overall. Grounded in double plays, they've done that the third most. They have no sack bunts, dead last in the league. Sack flies, tied for 14th, along with the Jays. Let's look at the matchups really quick. Friday's matchup, Matt Latos versus Alex Meyer, both making their 2017 debut. That's an 11:07 Atlantic time start, p.m. that is. On Saturday, another 10:07 p.m. start Atlantic time. Casey Lawrence, 0-1 with a 13.50 ERA versus Tyler Skaggs, who's 0-1 with a 5.19 ERA. And then Sunday, we're looking at Marcus Stroman, 1-2, 4.05 ERA, hit harder his last start, versus Jesse Chavez. We all remember Jesse, and he's pitching very well, 1-2 with a 3.71 ERA and a low 1.2 whip. Injuries for both teams. We know for the Jays, we got Happ, Donaldson, Sanchez, Howell, Schultz. None of these guys will appear in this series. For the Angels, who will be out, Andrew Bailey, Garrett Richards, Houston Street, Luis Valbuena, and 2 or 3 other guys that probably wouldn't make much of a difference anyway. Let's just focus on the Game 1 matchup, and because I'll be doing game recaps, and with each one I'll look at the matchups. So let's just go at the first one that we're going to see. I will not be able to do the updates after the games. It's just going to be too goddamn late. So they'll come in the morning. So let's just update the Game 1 matchup. Matt Latos versus Alex Meyer. Latos is 29. We know his story. The Jays signed him in the offseason. He's been in AAA. He's been sharp in AAA. He's lost some velocity on his pitches with an injury that he's had. And he was a depth move, but a move that might still have something in his arm. He's a smart veteran who can pitch, and Let's hope we see that. He could be up for one start. He's up for one start for sure. Could be up for 2 starts. I've been anxious to see him pitch. I had a good feeling about him, and I wanted him to make the team out of spring training. He didn't, but I think there's something there, and I think I hope I'm proven right in the way I look at him. He chucks 91, but like I say, he's a smart vet, and hopefully he's learned to pitch around that loss of velocity that he's experienced. Alex Myers, 6'9", giant, high strikeout rate, chucks 95. He did get a win against the Jays in 2016, but he only has 28 career innings in the majors, and he's walked 20. Control is a big problem for him. But the Jays don't walk a whole hell of a lot, so he's probably safe around this team. But that'll be an interesting matchup, and I'm going to give it to the Blue Jays, both, as I said, making their debuts, so it's hard to really gauge what they're doing in AAA. Mayer is averaging 4.2 walks a game, so he hasn't gotten his control under. He's got a 4.80 ERA in 15 innings. So it's really a toss-up here between these two guys. I'm going to give it to the Blue Jays in Latos. That's going to be the first game they win. And I think the Jays actually lose this series 2 out of 3. Based on the matchups, based on the home record of the Angels, based just on the way the Jays are playing and the injuries that they're suffering through, the lack of depth that they have to deal with those injuries, and their confidence is low. They came out of that Red Sox series. They had that good game hitting, but they didn't look any better. I mean, they looked dreadful, really. Boston's offense was in tough too, but they didn't look particularly great either, but the Blue Jays really looked awful anyway. So I'm going to give the series to Los Angeles. They'll take 2 out of 3, but the Jays will win Game 1 tomorrow night. At least that's my prediction. Playing well for the Angels, of course, Mike Trout, the multiple-time either MVP or runner-up MVP. He's 3 home runs, 11 RBIs in the early season with a 339 average, 7 runs scored, 3 steals, so he's doing it all again. Yuniel Escobar, the ex-Blue Jay, he's hitting 313 on the season with 11 runs scored. Danny Espinoza, only hitting 232 this season, but he's driven in 12, so he's been productive with his at-bats. And Albert Pujols, always a threat despite a declining power number, slugging numbers, all that stuff. He's only hitting 190, but he's driven in 11 runs on the season, so he's been productive with his few hits that he's had. Blue Jays player, we got Tulowitzki with 10 ribbies. I wanted to just highlight him because he has been productive with his hits. He's hitting about 260, and his numbers are coming up a little bit. He's hitting a little better lately, so we'll see if he can keep climbing. Morales, 9 ribbies on the season, 3 home runs. And he's been clutch with the home runs that he's hit, but he's not been a good hitter overall so far for the Jays. Kevin Pillar, 339. He has been scorching hot, one of the only guys who has been scorching hot. So, those are the guys I highlighted. It's always somebody else stepping up. Hopefully the Jays can get something going. Hope they can pound some runs against this team, who is not a great team. Not playing well, at least at this point in the season, and they need to try and take advantage of that. Maybe this could be the series they turn around, but I don't see it. I just don't have any confidence in this team. Certainly in the offense. I give that game, too, because Tyler Skaggs is on the hill, and he hasn't been that great this season, but he's going against Casey Lawrence, who looked okay at times in his couple bullpen spots for the Jays, but you don't know what we're going to get from him. So, and then you have the third game matchup, which is Stroman, and is just so inconsistent. You saw that is he going to go for a run of 4 or 5 starts now, as he did last year, and just get blown up? Is this the guy he's going to be, or is this just another blip and then he brings it back down for 4 or 5 starts? We don't know. He threw me for a loop. I thought, Jesus Christ, okay, Marcus Stroman's looking good this year. Oh, and then he had that last start that just set him back and set his numbers back, and we don't know what we have there yet. So I'm giving that game to the Angels too. just because they are, again, at home, and they played well at home so far. A small sample size, of course, but the Jays haven't done anything to give me the confidence to give them more than one game this series, even though it's against a 7-10 team. Anyway, that's my quick wind-up. That's my quick roundup, and that's my quick look at the Blue Jays and the Angels starting tomorrow. I will give you a game recap the following morning of each game because it's just going to be too late, as I said. Please join me, subscribe, like, all that shit. Do that stuff because it helps the videos and helps get more attention. You know, if you like it. If you don't like it, then don't do any of that stuff. But hey, feel free to keep watching. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow night.